Good afternoon. My name is T.C. Collins from Willow Run Acres, also the local chapter for the 4-H Club, Willow and Ypsi. And we want to thank Garden to Table program for allowing us to make this video for how to growing potatoes. So today we're going to show you how to mound a potato, the difference of spacing the potato, and also the container that you want to use indoors for starting your potatoes early. This is the last week of April, so we should be okay growing potatoes. When you get a potato, it's going to look just like this. You want to make sure that it's the size of a goose egg, has a good firm amount of sprouted eyes on it, which we have 1, 2, and 3. This potato here is a special heirloom potato. This is a white potato. So let me go back. So this one was bred from the Michigan State Extension up in Lansing. This one is a traditional Kippanek white potato. This here is a purple Adirondack potato. This is the Pontiac red potato. Now, this is not a bad word. We just want to let you know that this is a Pacific word. Okay? This here is the potato itself, a potato seed. This long stem here is called a chitin. It starts with the C-H-I-T-T-I-N-G. So it's a Pacific word for potato because it is the long vine of the potato, and when you see these roots here, it produces a large amount of starch, which gets you your potato underground. Now, potatoes underground are called tubers, so we just want to make sure that you understand that. Okay, when you start your potatoes, you want to make sure that you cut them in half, just like this, at least 2 days. Reason for cutting them, because you want them to make sure they have a nice callus, nice firm callus, not sticky. Because once you cut these in half, you put them in the ground without drying it out, it can cause a bacteria, fungus, and it also starts to become potato blight. And you don't want to have contaminated soil in your garden. So again, you want to pretend this is a whole potato, you slice it and let it air dry for at least 48 hours. So that way it can get you a nice callus and it can be put in the ground. Over here, this is a container that we have been using for years. It's a plastic container. We start our potatoes like this and we give this out to the community. And yes, we are a polluter of the community, so we have changed this model. So instead of using this, because this does not biodegrade anymore, we started using this container here. This is called a 32-ounce biodegradable, free from petroleum, paper-based container. Using this will break down into the environment. It's a lot safer. It helps brings bacteria, safe bacteria, to the environment. It also brings worms in your garden, which is a very good plus. And this item right here, this is a soy-based product. And it's a lid that goes on top that if you want to transplant it, keep it from spilling over. Let me show you real quick. Really, it's a soup cup, but we use this in the garden to help the community so we can have kids take this home and they can ride on a bus or walk home with their parents, and it doesn't spill, and it keeps their contents inside the container. So it's a very good, important thing for kids to have. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So, starting with the potato, we have a peat pot, which this is also biodegradable. We want to level it off just like that. Put a little soil in there, just a little bit. Take a potato, we're going to use our red potato, okay? And put that in there. Now, it's ideal to have at least 3 eyes on it, which is very important. Size of a goose egg. And it's okay, put it in there just like that. Put the soil in on top. No, I'm not going to water this because I want this to sprout on its own, okay? But traditionally, I would use water. We take this container just like this. We slip it in there just like that. Now, everything is biodegradable. Helps the environment. We close the lid up. And just like that, okay? If you're outside, you can dig your hole just like this. Put it into the hole, and you can cover it just like that. Just like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just like that. You want to always mound your potatoes. Once you start seeing the chittens growing just like this, and they're in the ground, you want to make sure that it has a good amount of water. You want to water it at least twice a week, at least 1 to 2 inches, until it's firmly established. And every time it gets higher, you want to always add more dirt onto it. That's one method, if you was going to use a container just like that. Now let me show you how to do another method, which is the traditional method of growing potatoes. You get you a spot just like this. Okay. With that, you take your potatoes, and I'm just going to show you an example. You want to make sure that they're at least 12 inches apart. We want to stay with the same variety, so that way you know which ones you're growing in that area. This is not 12 inches, but that's 12 inches. See that? And you want to mound your potatoes, so that way they're mound, just like that. Every week, water it twice a week, which is most important. Then, after a while, when you start to see the potato looking like that, you want to add more soil. The more soil, the more potatoes you get. Each variety of potato consists of a different method of growing, so you want to make sure that whatever potato you are growing and whatever type that you want to grow, you make sure you understand the potato itself and how long it's going to take it to grow. So for an example, if you take Pontiac Red, that takes 90 days. If you take Kipperneck, that takes a good 60 to 110 days. If you take a russet potato, those themselves take a good amount of days. And I'm telling you, at least 90 to 120 days for a russet potato. So we have different varieties of potatoes here. So again, this one here is a russet potato. This is the Kipperneck potato. This one here is a red Pontiac. Even though they look the same, but they're two different textures of reds. This is the red Norland potato. This potato here, if you look real close, this is called the blackberry potato, exclusively from Michigan State Extension. We want to thank them very much because this is a very rare potato and it's not given out to the public. We have another variety of that potato, which is similar but two different potatoes itself. So I want you to look closely. So this is the blackberry potato. This is called the blue Adirondack potato. And when it gets sprouted more effectively, you'll see the roots look just like this in that color. These are wonderful potatoes to have. We're growing over at least 19 varieties of potatoes here at Willow Run Acres. And it's very ideal that we do that because we want people to know the different varieties and versatile potatoes to grow. If you want new potatoes, you can always dig lightly under the soil after a good 60 days before they mature and get the little small potatoes, and those are very tender and sweet. At the same time, you want to make sure that you keep away any pest, which is called the potato beetle. The potato beetle themselves are not a good thing for the environment. So what you can do with that is just squash those once you see them. And you can use neem oil on your potato plants, but you want to make sure you have good organic soil. And you want to grow those potatoes in the same area for at least 3 years. Then you want to properly rotate your garden. So with saying that, it's always good to always know about potatoes, learn about potatoes, and have a different variety of potatoes to grow. It's always an excellent source of information at your local library. You can always write us at willowrunacres@gmail.com if you have any other questions about potatoes. We'd be happy to share that information with you.